On December 25th, 2020, Jordan Cartier, also known as Playboi Carti, dropped his new album, Whole Lotta Red. This album had gained insane levels of hype as fans grew restless during the wait that felt as if it was an eternity. His high status among those who stream his archives of music on SoundCloud, a social media platform to post music, his close connection to the ASAP mob and the fashion world as a whole, as well as the success of Carti's two previous albums, had made him a force to be reckoned with in pop culture. Prior to its release, there was no reason to believe his third album would be any different, but it was. Whole Lotta Red was met with mixed reviews after its initial release. The Playboi Carti gimmick proves to be functional only for so long, despite the album lasting for what feels like an eternity, is what one Reddit user had to say, giving the overall album a 3 out of 10. There is a now infamous Instagram live clip of Carti proudly flaunting his new music until a sharp change in his demeanor. Rather than singing along, he stares into the phone as he reads negative comments, such as, "D white boy done took my favorite rapper, disappointed emoji, huge L, and this album is fucking shit," ending the live stream shortly after. Something odd happened though. Public opinion had begun to shift. When looking at Metacritic, a majority of mixed and negative reviews were created within a few months of the album's release, but there is an influx of positive reviews during the spring of 2021. A year later, Whole Lotta Red would be highly regarded and would be named #1 album of the year by the Washington Post, #9 top 10 albums of 2021 from Pitchfork, 10 being the best, and Rolling Stone's #1 rap album of 2021. Pitchfork describes it as hard, melodic, experimental, and unlike anything else happening in mainstream rap. There's no clear reason for the cultural shift other than Carti dropped something the world was not ready for, and only over time would the masses be able to appreciate the vampiric nature of Whole Lotta Red. This album doesn't serve as a textbook example of modern trap, a subgenre of hip-hop categorized by aggressive drums, typically boasting about wealth, sex, drugs, and depicting harsh socio-economic realities. When looking at the trap artists that released music in 2020, such as Lil Uzi Vert, Polo G, Pop Smoke, and Lil Baby, Carti comes off as an outsider. His hyper-stylized sound had completely distorted the realm of what mainstream trap was capable of. Carti perfected his so-called baby vocals, a high-pitched tone of voice sometimes described as mumbling, and despite being inaudible at times, creates a melodic sound. This mixed with the gothic beats reminiscent of an old Castlevania video game, and basses capable of blowing out even the best of car speakers, has resulted in a sound that feels like a revival of punk suited for a modern audience, while still staying true to trap-based roots. If one traveled back to the year 2006 and had given a Gucci Mane fan an MP3 player with Whole Lotta Red on it, and then told them this was a genre-defining album of trap circa 2021, one would assume it would put them into a state of confusion, as they would not be able to comprehend how the vampire dude with Whitney Houston pitched vocals had any relation to Gucci Mane and a sound that could only be described as real trap shit. There is a stark contrast from what trap was and how it operates now. But how did we get here? Before unpacking the lore of this sacred genre, it should be established what trap music is. There is no clear definition due to the wide ranges of sound that fall under the genre. However, there are common elements such as 808 drum kits, hi-hats, snares, and sub-basses, or as Cambridge puts it, multi-layered percussive sound. The name trap derives from two main sources. One coming from the term trap house, an oftentimes run-down home existing in impoverished black communities. These buildings are heavily associated with drug activity, as narcotics are often produced and sold there. The other source takes the word in a more literal definition, as these low-income neighborhoods act as traps, preventing many from escaping these harsh conditions. This bleak reality leads some into crime, as they would like to seek the luxuries of capitalist society. This is something few are able to achieve in late-stage capitalism. However, this capitalism exists in the narrow bounds of criminality, as they are not able to attain the idea of capitalistic self-agency due to the illegality of their business. But that will be addressed in depth later. Trap comes from the Dirty South, which quite literally means the geographic American South, but takes all the negative connotations that arrive when talking about this area, such as poverty, ignorance, and violence. Trap takes a lot of influence from many artists who contributed to the dirty Southern sound. Some notable figures that laid the groundwork for trap stylistically were Underground Kings, or UGK, DJ Screw, Master P, Pimp C, and 3 6 Mafia. One of the most crucial aspects to the Dirty South is the city of Atlanta, Georgia. This city produced so many trap artists that it has taken on the indisputable role as the epicenter of trap music. 3 individuals hailing from this city are often credited with opening the floodgates of trapping into the culture. T.I.P., Jeezy, and my personal favorite, Big Goo Wop, aka Gucci Mane. These men can be referred to as a trap trinity due to their influence in making trap mainstream. Some notable projects from said artists include T.I.'s Trap Music, Gucci Mane's Trap House, and Jeezy's Trap or Die, all of which are cleverly named. Okay, now the second definition can be addressed in depth. Genj Kaluza, Doctor of Philosophy at the University of Labanjana stated, I apologize for butchering those names.
Trap music is often perceived as devoid of deeper meaning, promoting immoral behavior, talking mostly about money, drugs, women, criminals, and other stories of real life. This reality is best described by the state of entrapment in a certain situation or in a certain way of life. However, trap also presents exactly the opposite reality. It is also music about escaping the trap, about getting rich, having too much gold, and succeeding in life. Gold, jewelry, and other prestigious objects shine out in many trap videos. Trap presents a twofold reality. The reality of being entrapped on the one hand, and the reality of extreme success from nothing to something on the other. It presents a story of a transition from one extreme of social reality to the other. It is a reality of the thug life of the streets on the one hand, and a specific sort of American dream reality on the other.
Trap is capable of presenting 2 aspects of late-stage capitalism. One highlights the literal traps impoverished communities can serve as, feeling inescapable for many. The other highlights the luxuries of capitalist societies that rappers seek through trapping. Some Marxist intellectuals may criticize trap on the basis that it champions the ideals of the ruling class. In this scenario, and in many cases, the ruling class is synonymous with rich people. In German ideology, Marx and Engels identify the ruling class of being dominant of the culture. Hence, among other things, the ruling rule also as thinkers, as producers of ideas, and regulate the production and distribution of the ideas of their age. The ruling class sets the beliefs of societies, thus scolding what Marx would define as the proletariat for identifying with the values of the wealthy is uncalled for. Rather than trap representing the bourgeois, it is actually the direct opposite. Slovenian Marxist Ratko Monik's thesis on punk music, in which he explains the importance of Marxist analysis and how it's helpful to understanding youth culture, can equally be applied to trap. When we analyze contemporary movements of exorbitant youth crowds, we have to be aware that those crowds are not expropriated only directly economically, but also ideologically. Their cultures and their ethics are taken away from them as an ability to establish their own ideological class, platform on a progressive historical tradition. Class divide does not solely exist on an economic level. It is also very much cultural. When Gucci Mane talks about making money, it should not be categorized in the same realm as Jeff Bezos making money. However, a Marxist lens will not be beneficial in understanding the divide or what could be described as beef between old trap and new trap. Hip-hop as a whole has gone through many transformations over the last decade. Streaming made radio and CDs almost obsolete. Many rappers take on a DIY role, marketing themselves through the internet and social media rather than tying themselves to record labels. And rap is now popular among a much larger audience, becoming the most popular genre as of 2017. The changes specific to trap, however, have been a point of contention for some. One way trap has changed is where it comes from, as it is no longer exclusively Southern. Atlanta continues to pump out rappers and producers at a machine's pace, and what was previously known as the Dirty South is still contributing. However, trap music is beginning to pop up in cities all across the US, with rappers like Lil B, the Bass God, who's from Berkeley, California, and Chief Keef, who's from Chicago, Illinois. Their rise in popularity, despite not coming from the South, could be attributed to them promoting their music via the internet, something these two would pioneer. Also, trap was previously more concerned with selling drugs rather than consuming, a reflection of their original capitalist values in which money had to be made, no matter if it was legal or illegal. This is obviously not the case anymore. We some real rock stars, it's a pill, pop all of them. I got beef with my kidney. He said we got a problem, is a bar from Rapper Yee, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, trap artist of 2022. It seems as if trap and the culture that surrounds it are more concerned with using rather than selling. Hard drugs like Percocets, codeine, Xanax are much more prevalent. The deaths of rappers like Fredo Santana, Juice WRLD, Lil Peep have highlighted the increased drug use. Some attribute this trend to individuals using opiates as a form of self-medication. They ain't got money to go see a psychiatrist, but they got money to get a Perk 10, is what rapper King Kong Gotcha gave as an explanation for the drug use. The most controversial change would be the style of rapping. The term mumble rap, defined by difficult to understand lyrics and great use of ad-libs like A and Ya, is often used to describe popular artists in the current state of trap. Originally, it was for rappers that were mumbling like Rich Homie Quan, Fetty Wap, and Young Thug. But now artists like Migos, 21 Savage, and Lil Yachty have been considered mumble rappers despite them enunciating their words relatively clearly. It seems to have taken on a status as a derogatory term used by balding 30-year-olds and suburban socially awkward white boys who refer to themselves as hip-hop heads, but show their dated taste with the refusal to accept hip-hop as changing. The belief primarily being that lyrical ability is the most important aspect of hip-hop, something that trap has put on the back burner to focus on more melodic sounds and lyrics that the youth would describe as going hard. There will always be hip-hop fans that refuse to listen to rappers not concerned with being politically conscious, and their closed-mindedness does nothing other than prevent them from experiencing good music. Trap culture is a powerhouse, despite these hip-hop heads. But when did trap officially reach this point? In 2009, Lex Luger, a struggling producer at the time, would send beats to Waka Flocka Flame, and he would instantly fall in love with the sound as it took major influence from early Atlanta producers like Shawty Redd and DJ Tool. Waka Flocka's debut album, Flockavelli, was released on October 5th, 2010, and debuted at number 6 on US Billboard 200 and sold 37,000 copies in its first week. The lyrics were violent, and the production was bombastic and menacing, feeling as if it was created with the intention of being on a supervillains playlist. Not only did it shine light on Waka Flocka, but also made Lex Luger's sound something everybody wanted a piece of. Luger soon had production credits for artists like Rick Ross, Juicy J, Snoop Dogg, Jay-Z, and Kanye. EDM artists Hudson Mohawk and Rusty would soon incorporate Luger-produced tracks in their sets. At the start of the decade, Flockavelli had established trap's position in pop culture for years to come. Hip-hop has taken over the mainstream, and there's no doubt that trap is a clear frontrunner in the popularity of all of rap's subgenres. Trap's impact has done what some would describe as putting the whole hood on. Rapper Black Kray can be seen eating $100 bills in Miley Cyrus's music video, Can't Stop. People care more about sneakers from their favorite rappers than from actual athletes. Ariana Grande is posting pictures on Instagram where she does not even bother to hide the Playboi Carti influence. Beyonce has tracks with Tay Keith, as well as rappers being considered fashion icons and receiving invites to events like Met Gala and Paris Fashion Week. This begs the question of why trap is so popular. Trap originates from what African Americans would call the hood, but these can be found globally. People have been putting their spin on this beloved genre, like cloud rap in Sweden, the Ghana and UK drill scene, as well as Latin and Chinese trap. This is a result of growing wealth inequality as the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. The middle class has become so disillusioned with capitalism that they no longer associate with white suburbia and now relate more to the dirty South as the middle class fades into wealthy or not. A reflection of the expensive lifestyle and poverty that trap presents. This undermines the argument that trap's popularity is due to cultural appropriation, as there is thought to be a racial difference between who makes authentic trap versus who is faking it. However, the dual reality that trap is based upon is universal. This new universalism can lead to ignorance. To put simply, if everyone is special, special meaning part of an oppressed population, then no one is. There do exist real, genuine differences in class and circumstance, such as divide between financial classes, gender, etc. If all of these factors are seen as universal, these problems are ignored or lead to an inflation over who is actually oppressed. As many people have heard the objectively wrong argument from a white person stating that racism no longer exists, or that white men are being treated as scapegoats by the evil blue-haired liberals. According to Foucault, because you are a student, you are in a certain position of power, and me, a professor, am also in a certain position of power. I am in a position of power because I am a man and not a woman, and you are also in a position of power because you are a woman. Of course, not in the same position of power, but we all are in positions of power. Universalism is a combination of all power imbalances, and despite one being an oppressor in one scenario, they can still very much be the oppressed in another. There's something to admire about the rise of trap. The racist structure American society has forced upon black communities has ironically created its own worst enemy. Trap music, which has always been unapologetically black from its birth in the dirty South, the imaginative dark sound of Whole Lotta Red. The culture surrounding trap music has infiltrated not only precious white children's brains, but also the country's most pretentious institutions as well. This can be understood through trap's origins, how trap has transformed, and why the masses are so infatuated with this grimy sound. Unlike rock and roll, trap has not and will not conform to whiteness. And in doing so, trap will continue to break boundaries and pioneer in the music world.